Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ERSCA Chairgatin 200 from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Real quick, we'll see if we have our special guest. With me is Dom Santina and Emily Harlan. As always, I am David Westergrain, and we're getting the grid and everything pulled up for you guys as soon as possible. But for now, Cameron Rich on the pole. Dylan Thomas will be outside him. Some news, Dom and Emily, is that Ryan Lutz and Ethan Burrell are top two in points. We'll be starting from the back. Neither of them got a lap in qualifying.
Yeah, definitely going to be some work for them to do here tonight. But if there's two guys that have proved throughout the season that they can get up there and run in the front, is Ethan Burrell and Ryan Lutz for sure.
Yeah, these cars are going to be hot and slick and short track racing at North Wilkesboro. We're excited about it, and we'll get a quick command from Dakota Drake, the sponsor and co-host of Chairgatin Podcast. Let's see if I can bring him to the booth. Dakota, if you've got us. Let me unmute him. He's not going to be there. All right, but we're going to head to the track and go green here. Cameron Rich from the pole. Dylan Thomas with him, Byron Scott and Damian Leininger, third and fourth, and then Chris Wright and James Heater, fifth and sixth. Green flag is out.
Away we go here in this one. Some good old short track racing.
Damian Leininger got a great start, jumped into second spot. And he's chasing down Cameron Rich early on. His teammate Ryan Lutz, like we said earlier, nowhere to be found. He is way in the back. Did not get a qualifying lap in.
Yeah, it's something we're going to have to watch as we go throughout the night. See how they progress through the field.
Rich, remember, was our winner at Bristol a couple of weeks ago. The only other short track we've run this season, and then Lutz was going to win at Iowa up until a late race pit call gave the win to Gerald Campbell. So the two short tracks we've run were Iowa and Bristol, won by Gerald Campbell and Cameron Rich. Rich so far showing he's got that short track pace, leading over Damian Leininger. Look back through the field a little bit here for that good racing, but Damian putting the heat on for the lead. Rich did lead a ton of laps at Bristol. I believe he led the most laps, and every lap and every point counts in this series, and Rich has had a somewhat inconsistent season.
Good to see him back out front, though, leading some laps here early on. As Leininger looks to the inside, couldn't make it work. Rich will hold the lead coming out of turn 4. Down the front stretch and back into turn 1 they will go.
Cameron Rich has a strange little season going on. The only two times he's run in the top 10 this year have been both of his wins, and then he's racing alongside a guy who really needs some good luck. Damian Leininger is 40th in points here, and he's certainly been faster than that all season. I think the caution is out for the first time.
Yep, just saw the pace truck coming out there as we came through.
Couple of notes here. One, Ethan Burrell has a little bit of damage on the rear of the 37 car. And two would be the caution is due to Tyler Riggs in the 26 going for a spin. Let's take a look and see what happened down from the front bumper cam of Riggs. Guts it on the curb and just loses the 26 car. Right in front of the field, Jordan Owens goes for a slide. Looks like everyone else able to avoid.
Car that's had some trouble throughout the season so far. Riggs having some bad luck once again here to start this one.
And let's a quick mention that Gerald Campbell is way in the back as well as Nick Massey. A couple of guys we would otherwise not expect to be so far back. Just no one really able to get that track position early in this race. Ryan Lutz, Ethan Burrell have only marched to 26th and 28th respectively, and a couple more guys back here that I would not expect to see that stay back here. Both Burrell and Chuck Sweeting heading to pit road with that damage. Yeah, those guys certainly nothing to lose from so far back in the field so early on. Maybe Emily can go in and see if she can find out what happened to Tyler Riggs. Maybe some of the strategy Ethan Burrell is going to
Did we lose
take
David
up
there?
as we
We
go.
might have.
What happened there?
Looking at Nick Massey, your race leader.
Oh, he is not the race leader. Cameron Rich is the race leader. Nick Massey's way in the back of the field. And that's kind of shocking to me because Massey was one of the guys looking to win last week before Ethan Burrell finally captured that win. Massey all the way back in 30th spot. From here, as we double up and get ready to go back to green, Cameron Rich and Damian Leininger from the front row once again. Looks like that outside lane just does not have the same grip the inside does, but Leininger does cut down in behind Cameron Rich after their first caution of the day. 200 laps here in the Chairgatin 200. 12 car looks good out there right now. Trying to look back through the top 5 or so. James Heater doing a pretty good job there, sitting up in P6. Chris Wright moving forward. He's been one of the more dominant cars on the day, or on the year rather. As Emily joins us back. Emily, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I just talked to Tyler, and he said, he got a little loose, a little overzealous there, and he said the strick's been a nemesis of his. So he said if he didn't get too much damage, everyone was not behind him, avoiding him. So he's doing all right.
It's hit the wall and piled into, and that will bring out the caution. And just as we talked about, someone else who's run into trouble in Tyler Riggs, Damian Leininger loses it from underneath the leader there. I think we're going to have to get a replay of what happened, but Damian Leininger out from the race lead. There it goes, just overcorrects. Then hit hard by Marshall Stanley.
Yeah, and after... I don't even know what I'm looking at here. But anyway, yeah, Leininger has had some trouble. He was running up front here today, and not the way he wants to start this race.
No, for sure not. Oh man, it looks like he managed to get out of Robert Hill's way there just before, but absolutely clobbered by Marshall Stanley, and definitely a disappointing end to what it was a really promising early run for Damian Leininger. And at 40th in points, he just does not need any more bad luck this season.
That'll move Dylan Thomas into the 2nd spot, Brandon Scott into 3rd, Chris Wright 4th, and James Heater in the 5th position.
Yeah, Tate Lytle back in the 56 car this week and running in the top 10 as well. Josh Adams there, Scott Crump, a bunch of guys there. We have a new one though in Matthew Brinson in this 15 Circuit City car. Like that paint scheme, a new name to the ERSCA series, already in the top 10. So a good start to his ERSCA career. Thought we were doubling up there. Looks like that we still have 2 laps to go until the green comes out once again. 200 laps at North Wilkesboro. These cars are going to be loose, as we saw with Damian entering the corner and Tyler Riggs exiting. It's just a matter of keeping the throttle under control going through these corners, and Cameron Rich has been able to do it the best so far.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that 47 car, see if he can maintain the lead out front or if one of these guys can track him down.
I'd keep my eye on Chris Wright up to 4th. Certainly been one of the stronger cars on the season, and Wright's kind of looking for that win. He did get one at Chicagoland when we were off the air, but he is looking for another one and to climb back into the points battle. Josh Adams has been really strong all year as well, so those are kind of the 2 guys I'm looking at that could really challenge Cameron Rich, but he'll take the green flag right here. Pace car dives off. Cameron Rich on the gas, and he heads into turn 1 pretty much alone. No one really got a good restart behind him.
Yeah, and you can see how loose that car got on the restart, wiggled left and right, and here comes Dylan Thomas looking to the inside, going to slide up into the 2nd position. Wright will tuck into third. And then here comes Josh Adams into the fourth position. That 95 car is on a mission right now.
Crashing behind, 3 wide there, and I think Josh Clark got spun. Yep, gonna be the 28 car of Josh Clark as well as the 10 of Zishan Dura. And there was a bunch of cars. There was a 3 wide battle, and it looks like Clark might have gotten punted there by the 57 of Adam Pettit. Zishan just had nowhere to go. In fact, actually stopped and never got involved.
Got a little tap there, as David said. Pettit spinning him around, and a great job by Dura there, stopping and avoiding that accident.
So Josh Clark pretty much clean. After that, somewhat surprising, but that car looks like it's brand new. He's just going to put some tires on it, I'm sure, and be all right. Josh Clark will be able to continue on, though he has lost all his track position, falling down into 35th, now 34th, as Marshall Stanley has come to pit road to fix the 25 car after being involved. We still have all 35 cars on track that started the race. They're being led by Cameron Rich. The 47 car, our Daytona and Bristol winner, has done a marvelous job of holding off the field so far in this one.
There's Burrell coming down pit road.
Yeah, Ethan Burrell, he's been on pit road a number of times already. We're still following Josh Clark here and trying to look at the top 5 maybe, and we'll hit Colin Fambro, and there we go. Dylan Thomas running second behind Cameron Rich. Dylan has not been one of the drivers that has really pushed forward with that speed, but he's one of those guys that could definitely go off in any time, and I'm waiting for a Dylan Thomas a really good Dylan Thomas run.
Yeah, Thomas has had quite a few top 10 finishes so far this season. Quite a few earlier in the season, but he did pick up a top 5 when we were off the air, or a top 10, I should say, when we were off the air in Chicagoland. He came across in the 6th place position. So he's had some solid top 10 runs, just looking to try to move forward a little bit more and challenge for the race lead now here on this restart.
Yeah, I think so. He looked like he had something for Cameron Rich. We'll go back green on lap 24 of 200. 3 cautions already. This one's been a bit of a wreck fest so far. Rich on the gas, but Thomas right there with him. A great restart for the 03.
Yeah, David, we've had a little bit of trouble getting going here in the first 20 laps. Could that be the difference of going to 4 bigger tracks here, but since we've been last at Bristol and now just trying to get back into the flow of short track racing again?
Oh, this track is so hard to drive, Dom. It's really one of those tracks that produces these kinds of wreck fests as you see Brandon Scott just about turns Tate Lytle. It's 2 groove, but the bottom groove slides around so much, gets very, very loose. You have to be very careful getting on the throttle or you'll spin it coming off. It's difficult to pass. As we see, we're going to have another caution. James Heater around in the back of the field just as we're going into what it's like to have to deal with those conditions on the bottom of the track. I think it was a product of that once again for Heater.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see we were watching there, Dylan Thomas trying to work that bottom groove, being so light on the throttle pedal, trying to get back to the gas and get under Cameron Rich, and just couldn't make the pass. But he definitely took a couple of attempts.
This is a big hit here by a couple of guys into the outside wall. And as we'll go back and take a look at it, it's going to be the 16 car getting run into by the 01 after he hits the curb right there. 16 into the curb. Nick Indelicato is going to get in the rear bumper of James Heater. And then watch as Indelicato has to try to go around the spinning 16. That's what's going to collect most of the cars around him. It's going to get Thomas Sherman. It's going to get Adam Pettit. It's going to get Jared Mogard. See if Ryan Lutz can get through. Lutz gets into Colin Fambro a little bit. Pettit spins across the front bumper of the 5. Looks like he's going to get a little damage. Everyone else okay, though I think Matthew Weeks spins in the aftermath. Not rendering on our screen there, but everyone else all right, making it through that. Short track race, and there's going to be damage on these cars.
That's what I was going to say, David. I was watching Weeks there as he tried to lock it up to avoid the crash and lock it up from sliding down pit road, and I think he looped it out there in the entrance, trying to avoid all of that.
Guys already telling the drivers to relax a little bit and take it a little bit easier. Pettit and Stanley both a couple of laps down now after the crash damage on those machines. Trying to take a look back and see whether or not guys like Thomas Sherman have a lot of damage, and I can't really tell. Ethan Burrell has a big crinkle on the front nose of the 37 car. He has not made any progress, but Ryan Lutz is up to 15th.
Yeah, Lutz is definitely coming. We're going to have to keep an eye on that car. Lytle, Adams have moved their way up, too. I'm watching Scott Crump, a couple of the bigger names here that are starting to move their way forward as well.
Yep, and Cameron Rich there is going to get the green flag next time by. One more lap to go. It'll be lap number 30 when we get the green flag once again. And Emily, feel free to go down and talk to any of these guys who've spun out. Heater, Damien, anybody who's been kind of crazy there tonight. It's a crazy start to this race.
Yeah, she had to sit by idly while she listened to us talk all last week. She's going to get her money's worth here this week. Short track racing, listening to and interviewing all these guys, as we've already had quite a few wrecks.
So here we go, coming back to green. Cameron Rich, Dylan Thomas. Dylan had a great restart last time. Let's see what he gets here. Nope, 47 out in front. Great start for Cameron Rich. See if they can click off some green flag laps this time.
That Toyota Supra race car out in front and trying to run away from the Chevy Camaro of Dylan Thomas. They'll dive it on in. Right, battling with Adams, pushed to the outside. They're 2x2, starting third on back.
Damian Leininger has blown the engine on the 12 car, and Emily just came back with us. Emily, what you got?
I just jumped down into the Apex group, and they were saying that they're already 4 minutes behind in damage, and it's just, not a great time for them right now. But so we'll see how it goes. I know it's early, but there's a whole lot of action going on.
The bad news, Emily, is that 4 minutes just cost Damian the race. He has blown the motor and will be headed out. We might even get an interview with him here, should he be willing to come up to the booth. So. Meanwhile, it's been a crazy battle. Tate Lytle almost got spun out down the back straightaway. They're side by side for fourth between Wright and Brandon Scott. And then here comes Thomas every lap going after Cameron Rich, but he can't get it done.
Yeah, you can see the back of that 47 car has just a tight little damage. I don't know if Thomas got into him or what happened to that left part of the race car there on the back bumper, but definitely a dent, and here comes Thomas to the inside again. Probably the best exit he's got out of the corner yet. He'll dive it on in the bottom once again, try to roll the corner and come out of turn number 4. New race leader, Dylan Thomas. Couldn't quite clear him, though, coming down the front stretch.
Great pass for the lead there. Finally got some green flag laps to get her done. Josh Adams up into third. He'll be looking to take advantage of this side-by-side battle when he gets to it. Thomas right there on Cameron Rich. And Dom, I think I know what happened to get that 47 car the damage. Damian Leininger's car, when it hooked right, clipped the left rear quarter of the 47. And I think that might be what gave it the damage. But it certainly doesn't seem to be slowing Cameron Rich down any. He's able to hold serve on that outside lane, but now he will give up the lead to Dylan Thomas, though Dylan slides up.
Yeah, Ab's probably spot on there, David. Didn't even think of that. Good analysis on your part, but great battle here for the lead between Thomas and Rich. Cameron Rich not letting up here on Dylan Thomas. Thomas not being able to clear the 47 car yet either.
A tight battle for the lead here. No one able to gain ground. Adams, we're on board with him right now, following Dylan Thomas's tire tracks. Cameron Rich able to hold the outside lane, so side by side maintained.
Yeah, and while they continue to do this, that's only going to just pull more cars into the battle. You see Adams, here comes Wright, and then you have Scott as well, not too far behind. The longer they sit here side by side and continue to battle, just going to become a bigger pack right behind them.
Makes you wonder who's got that fast car, right? We've seen it a number of times this season. One car been able to get out in front and just hold the lead for a long time, even at the road course, or at the short tracks rather. We saw Ryan Lutz do it at Iowa. He was just able to lead every lap in the race, restarts, green flag runs, green flag pit stops. It didn't matter. Ryan Lutz was out front. until the very end when the pit stop strategy changed hands. But it doesn't seem like anyone's got a super dominant car right now. Everyone's able to stay with the 03 of Dylan Thomas for now.
Well, Thomas has finally got a clean racetrack. He's got around the 47 of Rich, and he's starting to slightly pull away as Adams will now try to attack Rich for the second spot, and he's got a train behind him of cars nose to tail lined up now on that inside line.
It's just a matter of how much can Cameron Rich hold off as Scott sideways off turn 4. I think Rich also got a little bit sideways. He'll have to keep that 47 pointed straight on these exits if he wants to hold up second spot. He's doing it right now, though.
Doing a fine job trying to pull down now in front of Adams. That's going to stack him up as they bump a little bit coming out of turn 4 back to the stripe, completing lap 43 of 200.
Been a longest green flag run so far on this race, and these guys are starting to experience the first, and they have their first run-ins with the tire wear. For now, this battle is sorted out, but Ryan Lutz has moved up into 12th around Johnny Thomas, in the more towards the back of the top 10 there. I think he is in 12th, so the progress being made by the second in points man, and he is certainly making a lot more progress than Ethan Burrell as the caution is out. Burrell was 22nd when the caution flew there.
Yeah, another guy that's actually needed a solid top 10 run, and I thought maybe he'd move up a little bit, but he's been left behind by Lytle and Adams, is Scott Crump running in the 8th position at the moment, just inside the top 10.
Yep. A badly needed good run for Scott Crump there for sure. He's been in and out of good runs all season long, it seems. And it looks like the caution was going to be caused by the 8 of Richard Lafferty. Bounces it off the curb, spins to the inside, bounces it off the guardrail. Looks like that's all the rendering we've got for the wreck, but he spins it back around, and I think he's going to end up going a lap down in that, which would make 4 cars now 1 lap down or greater. Lafferty will be the one in position for the Lucky Dogs should there be another caution, which I think there will be.
Look at that. We were just looking at pit stops. Bayuk looked like he had a tough time getting into his box. That car sitting sideways, almost sideways in his pit stall, but able to get it done here on iRacing.
A couple of our top drivers took pit stops there. Cameron Rich, I believe, does. Dylan Thomas does.
I was just about to ask you, what do you kind of think the range is here on... Obviously, tires play more of a factor than fuel mileage, but how long would you expect them to kind of run?
Well, we've only got 20 or so laps, but I think the short tracks are going to really, burn up these tires. This is a interesting call by some of these guys up front. Michael Goodman, Nick Indelicato, Brandon Key, all trying to stay out. Everyone else took the opportunity to come get tires. So I think we've seen exactly what these guys think. A lot of these guys think that tires are kind of irrelevant when you have so many cars spinning and crashing. That's my thought here, is that everyone who stayed out is assuming there will be further chaos. The tires are definitely the way to go, though. I mean, they're so much more valuable once it goes green like it just did for a few laps. We'll be restarting here on lap 2, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like Adams will inherit the lead now. Things still trying to cycle out from the pit stops. Looks like Adams, Wright, Key, and Delicato. And then the 73 car there of Goodman, your top 5.
Yep. Well, a couple of guys there in Goodman and Brandon Key looking for good runs today. They haven't necessarily had a ton of them this season. And then Josh Adams and Chris Wright looking to take over the kind of those 3rd and 4th in points level positions. Certainly guys who can do that. So we'll have to see if the no tire strategy works out, or if Dylan Thomas and Brandon Scott are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and Thomas is going to line up on the outside of row number 3 in the 6th position. So even taking tires there, only 5 guys staying out. We'll see how fast Thomas can get around these guys, and we'll see how big of a difference those new tires play a factor. Josh Adams back on the throttle, and we are away. Chris Wright going to stay with him, and Delicato down to the bottom looking to take away that second spot.
Tough break for Indelicato, or Key and Goodman rather, on the bottom. Neither of them got going at all, and that opens the door for the outside lane to be more prevalent here. Tate Lytle trapped in behind the no-tired car of Michael Goodman, and Goodman's going to be falling back fast. Ooh, he bounced off of Goodman, and Goodman gets into Lutz.
Lytle goes
Hit by
around.
Bayuk.
Lytle went around and got nailed there by Matthew Bayou, because I think David and I were talking over each other there. But regardless, Tate Lytle takes a big hit. Bayou going to have some massive damage to that 29 car as well.
And Michael Goodman trying his best there to hold the line coming off with those older tires, but the old no tire call tends to create additional chaos, and I think that's what
Whoa
there. Whoa, bit of a
Goodman not
Goodman's
too happy. Yeah,
Goodman's
not
happy with Tate. I don't think he was trying to get in front of Tate there, and they're battling it out in the driver chat.
Already some tempers flaring here, just 53 laps into this one.
Let's go look at this crash a couple more times here. I think that's going to be the call, and see if we can gather what happened as Goodman was, holding his line. It looked like he and Tate got sucked together almost by some kind of a netcode situation. Robert Hill around in that wreck. Maybe we can get at it from a rear camera or something to show just how close those guys were. And yeah, I think Tate and Goodman should not have touched there before the netcode got to him.
Looks like Lytle took a little hit there from Goodman as well. Not too much damage to that 36 car, but did take a little shot.
And here we get to see the kind of chaos and carnage in the pack. Josh Clark, Ethan Burrell into the wall and into the 05 car. How much damage does the 37, the points leader, have? Ryan Lutz, we saw, got through pretty okay. Go on board with James Heater here and see what the 16 saw at all this. I think he's going to get through it scot-free, but oh man, big chaos, big wreck in front.
Stopped her right there in the corner.
Great job by James Heater. That's why he's up in the points despite having almost no top. He's third in points right now with 1 bonus point on the season, which is kind of remarkable to me. He hasn't been nearly up near the front, getting those bonus points for leading laps and finishing this, in the halfway point. But he's been clean all year. 5 top 10 finishes in 8 races. 16 car rather seems to be one of those guys who could sneak up in the points should there be trouble for the 37 or the 36 and 37 cars.
Yeah, absolutely right. Consistency wins you championships. That's what the 16 car is trying to do right now. And when you can avoid those big wrecks like that, it's definitely going to help out the situation. The way we're going might just be trying to survive here might win you this race.
I think so, and trying to take a look in and see who's got the most damage. Matthew Bayou went a lap down due to his damage. Ethan Burrell and Tate Lytle have suffered pretty severe contact to those cars as well. Emily coming back to the booth with some info from pit road. Emily, what you got?
Yes. Hey, so I talked to Mike Goodman. He just said he wanted to apologize to the 29 car there, and he said if he decides to get him back, it's all in fair game. He went through ride with Lutz and Tate Lytle and didn't work out for them, obviously. So, yeah, the rest of this one goes.
Tough break for sure, and as we're seeing Tate and Goodman still side by side here as we go back to green flag racing. Josh Adams still the leader, though I think Dylan Thomas has now surged to the point back at the front of the field. Yep, Thomas is pulling away with those fresh tires. Everyone else is kind of bottled up behind the guys with old tires.
Yeah, Adams and Wright going at it. Wright trying to go around him. Mogard in the mix, and Delicado, Scott, and look who's lurking back there, making it 3 wide. Here comes Lutz. Tried to make it 3 wide, didn't make the move pay off, but he is definitely moving his way to the front.
All this is letting Dylan Thomas pull away. Oh, Scott goes around. Brandon Scott, one of the top 5 cars early in the race. And it looks like everyone will stream by okay. Scott will be able to fire it up and stay on the lead lap. A near disaster for the 99 car, but he'll be able to continue.
That was right in front of Ryan Lutz there. So watching it, almost went off the nose. Good job by Lutz to keep him off of the 99 car.
So tough break early for Brandon Scott. This is certainly not what Dylan Thomas wanted to see, as he had pulled off to the biggest lead of the race so far. Lap 62, counting to 63 now as we hit the line. So let's take a look at what happened there. Maybe Brandon Scott getting in the gas a little bit too early with Ryan Lutz bearing down on him in the back. Yeah, Lutz never touched him.
Yeah, I knew it was kind of close. It was hard to see from the angle that we were at, but I felt like Lutz did a good job of staying off of him, and that's exactly what happened, is what David just said there. A little too throttle happy, and around goes Scott into the inside wall.
Yep, tough break for Brandon Scott, like we said, but it does open up the door then, I think, for Ryan Lutz to get up into this top 10. He's now finally in 6th spot, has worked his way up from 34th as we watch from Ryan Lutz's point of view, and yeah, he was nowhere near that 99 car. Scary moment for the second in points driver. His cohort at the front of the field in the point standings, Ethan Burrell, well back in 25th so far and making yet another pit stop to repair the 37 car.
A lot of work for that 37 team after going to victory lane last week at Michigan. Luck not quite on his side here at North Wilkesboro. We'll keep an eye on him as he goes, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to retain that points lead.
Everyone coming down pit road are the types of cars that have had a number of times that they've had damage today. Matthew Bayuk, Richard Lafferty, Thomas Sherman, Tate Lytle, all names that we've mentioned in wrecks before this caution. And Richard Lafferty did get back in the lead lap, so the 8 car is now back amongst the lead lap competitors. And despite that spin on the back straightaway, he may still yet have a chance to run well in this one. The only car 1 lap down that's still running is Matthew Bayuk. Marshall Stanley is back 7 laps down in the 25 car.
Currently, as we sit here working on the lap number 65, we've had 6 cautions for 18 caution laps.
Oof.
So a good chunk of our race here under the yellow flag.
Yeah, it's definitely been an adventure so far, and we've still got guys out there on old tires in the Chris Wright and Josh Adams machines, as well as Nick and Delicato. So these guys got to watch out for those cars on old tires kind of holding up the line. That's what they did last time, and it really let Dylan Thomas get out free. Jared Mogard and Ryan Lutz are the cars on fresh tires that are going to be trying to pass through these cars with older tires and get up to the back bumper of that 03 car.
Lights out. On the pace car, getting ready to go green once again. As the saying goes, cautions breed more cautions. That's been the case, but maybe we can get a nice green flag stretch in once again, and a great jump for Dylan Thomas once again on the restart.
Let's watch Jared Mogard, see if he takes him 3 wide. He's as close as he got with these cars that were on older tires. Adams fades a little bit, and that'll give Mogard a chance to get on by, though Wright doesn't enter the corner well. And Lutz gives a shot to Mogard. Those fresh tire cars do not want to wait. They're seeing Dylan Thomas just drive away.
Yeah, the 03 car got the lead about 7, 8, maybe even 10 laps ago now. And since he's got fresh air, it seems like that car has really came alive as he's starting to pull away farther than we've seen anybody pull away as the race leaders in this one.
It helps that those cars behind him are fighting on older tires and holding up all these cars on new tires. I mean, you see how much the pack is stacked up. And there's a crash in turn 1, hard crash, involving, I believe, the 73 car and the 23.
That's Goodman and Sherman. There's Dura as well, might have been involved.
We'll have to go take a look at that replay, and yeah, we'll have to keep kind of pay attention to whether or not these guys start to get sick of those cars on older tires, because I imagine that the front bumper of those cars, like Jared Mogard and Ryan Lutz, starting to look awfully enticing to the rear bumper of the Chris Wright and Josh Adams machines. They are really stacking up the field, which I think ended up causing this wreck.
Looking right there, you can see Marshall Stanley's car. Him and Ethan Burrell is on the same pace. Those cars look more like modified cars at the moment than they do stock cars.
This
So
one's going to be
nose
this is
ripped
going to be
off.
Kyle Hanshaw causing this accident here. Just hung a left going off into the corner and cut across the nose of the Jordan Owens car, and it collected Brandon Scott and Michael Goodman right there. See, just clears down on the door.
Goodman just got to be asking what he can do right here tonight. He's been involved in a couple cautions. Not totally his fault, but that last one I think he played a little bit more of a factor in, but still, it's the second or third caution he's been in here tonight.
Yeah, Jordan Owens, no luck there, getting a bunch of damage on the right side of the 45 SMRI car, and a tough break. And we looked to see who came down pit road, but it was not the 69 and 95 cars. Those cars will remain out on the track with the no rubber, and Brandon Scott loses a lap trying to get those repairs done.
I think maybe the only two possible cars without any damage is your race leader and the car right behind him, right in the second spot.
I don't
Looking
think
pretty
Adams
clean
has
at the
damage
moment.
either. Yeah, I think Adams is clean too. So I think it's the top three machines there that are going to be working okay. Ryan Lutt's going to be up here in sixth spot, though, with a bunch of damage on the 36 car. He's been involved in several incidents. Scott Crump's car looks okay.
Yeah, Crump's been hanging in there. He's definitely been around some accidents, but looks pretty clean in that 51 car. Hasn't been able to really make his way up too much farther.
I haven't talked about him all day, but how about Joe Francis running in ninth in that 50 car? Really solid run for Francis. I felt like he was maybe another one of those cars that really needs to put together a good run and good showing to try to get himself up into the chase. He's 18th in points, 2 top 10s on the year. Really looks like one of the cars that could eke his way in, given some good fortune, and certainly a good start to this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember watching earlier, I was going to mention he narrowly avoided getting some damage in one of the racks, but that car looks pretty clean right there as well.
Heading back to the green flag this time by, I think, and it's going to be Dylan Thomas versus the old tires behind him. We'll see if Jared Mogard gets sick of Chris Wright holding him up here.
Yeah, bumper might be coming here to the 69 car.
Dylan Thomas absolutely loving this.
Mogard did not get that great of a restart. It gets rolling now here through turns 1 and 2, but Dylan Thomas back out to the race lead once again.
These guys doing everything in their power to get around those cars behind. You see here, right, Mogard just stuck behind two guys who don't really want to give up their track position. Try to force some more laps onto the tires behind them. This race goes green for any length of time at all, though. I think it'll sway in the favor of these guys with tires. Nothing much of them can do. I mean, Lutz and Mogard just trying to find a way, but the track is blocked.
Yeah, Wright and Adams continue to battle for second and third. Like David said before the restart, how long are these guys going to sit back here and watch these two go at it on used tires before maybe using a bumper and moving them out of the way?
Worst thing that Adams and Wright could do is go single file. I think if they want this strategy to work, they're doing the right thing. But it's just so difficult to hold this without angering somebody behind you to the point that those people start to get upset and try to move you. These cars on iRacing tend to hate getting the bumper. They just spin out without much warning. They're very loose. So Ryan Lutt's going to try going to the bottom this time and seeing what he can do with Nick and Delicato. Caution flag out once again.
It's our 8th caution.
I believe the 8 car of Nick Lafferty or Richard Lafferty once again. And it looks kind of like the first incident there that Lafferty got into coming off of turn 2. It was a carbon copy of the first one, though. It was 8 car getting loose coming off of turn 2 and bouncing off the fence. So Richard Lafferty just not having the best of days, but I believe that'll get Brandon Scott back on the lead lap in the 99 car. So there goes the Lucky Dog clearing by the field here, and let's see if Josh Adams and Chris Wright want to give up that track position. They do not. They have made their bed with the strategy, and it's allowing Dylan Thomas to get out to such big leads without actually making it easy for the rest of the field to catch up with him. There is a running order change in the top 5, though. I think that may be bad for the cars on the old tires. Nick Indelicata will now be on the outside. Jared Mogard on the inside in 5th spot.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. Dylan Thomas is probably pretty frustrated up front because he's checked out by increasing gaps and margins each time we've gone green. That one was up over 1.5 seconds that he had pulled away from Wright and Adams before our 8th caution fell.
See if Bayou can get out in front of the pace car. He cannot. 29 car will go another lap down to the leaders. I believe that's just his first, but he'll be in position to get a Lucky Dog, and he was involved in several incidents, including smashing into Tate Lytle there when he was sideways in turn 1.
Yeah, and I think on one of the previous cautions, he just narrowly beat the pace car out to avoid going a lap down. So see him falling to the back of the pack here.
You know, we saw Cameron Rich running in the lead in this race early on, but Rich, when those pit stops happened and he fell out of the lead, he has dropped all the way back to 17th, and he has not made ground going forward. This race is so much about track position.
Well, like you said there, David, at the start, Rich has either been up front leading this thing or struggling this season, and we've seen both of it here early on in this one.
Yep, so we're going back to the green flag. Dylan Thomas will be ready on this restart to keep on trying to pull away from these guys who have older tires. Can Mogard or Lutz do anything with these 3 that are kind of holding up the cars with fresh tires?
Dylan Thomas loves this once again. And Delicato giving a push to Adams, trying to get him around right to get into that spot. Lutz gives a big shove.
Delicato bounced off of Adams, and it caused Lutz to kind of run into him there, and Lutz cuts across Mogard's nose. Some aggressive racing from the top group. Scott Crump now underneath Mogard.
Patience running out here possibly for the guys on new tires as Lutz tries to make it 3 wide under right. And in Delicato, we'll see how that works out.
Scott Crump's the one in round. How did Crump be the one to crash there?
Yeah, that's my exact thought there, David. I thought Wright or maybe Indelicato were going around instead. It's Scott Crump.
Yeah, and Crump was an innocent victim in that one.
And once again, another guy that was having a solid day, needing a good finish, and gets struck here by a caution.
We saw that one coming, and Wright tries to give some room, and Indelicato and Wright just, slamming into Ryan Lutz here. We'll see it right here. Wright tries to give Lutz a little room, but Indelicato's on the outside. And
Mogard turned him.
Yeah, Mogard into Crump. Crump all the damage, it seems like, there. And, I can't help but feel like that one's caused by some of those guys staying out on old tires and the patience level wearing thin from the cars that had the new tires.
Mogard did get some damage there on the nose. I don't know if that was from a previous caution or if that was...
that definitely came when he turned across. That damage is all new on the 00 car. It was one of the cleaner cars out here, and it is now looking more like a modified.
So not getting away there damage-free for the 00 car. Add another one to the list of banged-up race cars. That happens here at short track racing.
We got a damage-free car on our screen right now. We haven't talked about yet today, and it'll be the 83 of Johnny Thomas, the old boss man of the league, and is running pretty well up in 7th spot. Hasn't been involved in anything just yet. Hopefully we don't jinx him there, but if Johnny Thomas can maybe finish up a good run here, that would be sorely needed. He's 17th in points looking to point his way into the chase. And we'll get back with Emily now, who just came back from pit road.
Hey, so I just talked to Scott Crump. He said he wasn't really sure what happened there. He didn't see what went down, and he said his car's fine, but tires aren't that great. So he said we'll see how it goes the rest of the way.
Thanks, Emily, as always. Hey, David, I just want to say, if Johnny ends up wrecking tonight, he might be coming for you up here in the booth.
Look, man, I've caused the announcers jinx on, at this point, maybe 20, 30 drivers, and no one's come after me yet. So we're just gonna sit with it.
Yeah, but this one's the boss man, so we'll see. I don't know. He does need a really good run here tonight, though. He's been struggling a little bit this season. Good to see the 83 car up here running towards the front, and maybe he can continue working his way up. See what happens.
Yep, he's just got to keep the nose clean. And one guy right here that has kept the nose clean since he spun early in the race, Josh Clark up into P10. Never give up at these short tracks, guys. You never know what can happen. Josh Clark was around backwards early in this one, and he has rebounded to a nice 10th place run.
Closing in on the halfway point here. We're working on lap 92 of 200.
If Ryan Lutz gets some bonus points, that would be very big in his battle to reclaim the points lead from Ethan Burrell. Burrell way back in the field right now, sitting in, as we go back to green, 24th for Ethan Burrell. Lutz will try to follow his teammate Dylan Thomas through Josh Adams. Adams still out there on those older tires.
Hasn't worked too bad for Adams, though, but he might be in trouble here unless he can hold on to Lutz. Week's going to come to the inside, too, try to get around him. There's Mogard in that half-modified, half-stock car.
Johnny Thomas just about took somebody out there. I think it was the 5 of Colin Fambro. Close race in the mid-pack.
Mention him, and look what almost happens.
I know. Ryan Lutz now challenging Dylan Thomas up front for the race lead. Meanwhile, the pack behind snarling and threatening every which way. Matthew Weeks is going to clear Josh Adams, it looks like, for third. The battle is this huge pack of cars trying to stream around Josh Adams, who's on those older tires.
And I don't know the last time. I want to say he hasn't came down pit road yet, but I may be mistaken here. But that would be almost, would be splitting the race in half here on one stop.
He's probably needing a caution here fairly soon. The gasoline on that 95 machine may be running out shortly. For now, though, it is Dylan Thomas, Ryan Lutz, Matthew Weeks, the front three. They have broken away. Lutz and Thomas just pulling out. And remember, at halfway, coming up soon, just a couple of laps, that will be a 10 points to the winner and then 9 points to second, and so on down to 10th. Ryan Lutz in position to pick up 9 points on Ethan Burrell. Burrell wouldn't get anything. He's in 25th right now, struggling in that 37 car, the points leader.
I think right now Ryan Lutz has a bigger picture in mind. He's looking to be a repeat winner here this season. Picked up the win back in the middle of March at Homestead. He wants a win here at North Wilkesboro, and he has run down Dylan Thomas. He's all over the back of that 03 car, but we've seen how hard it is to pass here around North Wilkesboro.
Yep, Ryan Lutz is really, really good at carrying speed through the center of the corner. See if he can wrap it and get to Dylan Thomas, but Thomas trying to hold him off for the halfway win. One more lap, and then we will settle the halfway point here. Still in the top 10 is a bunch of guys who need points, and the caution is out. So that will mean that Dylan Thomas wins the halfway stage. Lutz second, Matthew Weeks third, Josh Adams fourth, Joe Francis fifth.
And we talked about how big it is for Lutz, but talk about how big it is for Dylan Thomas to pick up those 10 additional points. Huge to win the halfway stage.
Dylan Thomas was 21st in points, sitting right there around guys like Scott Crump, who was having trouble. I believe he was involved in that wreck. So Crump having further issues tonight, and he just picked up a bunch of points on guys like Brandon Scott, who've had opportunities tonight, but ended up not doing particularly well. And yeah, Adams will come down pit road with everyone else. Gerald Campbell staying out.
So I don't think the strategy really worked too well there for Adams. Stayed inside the top 5, which is good, but don't think he's going to get really too much of a benefit here by
No.
not coming down pit road.
He just lost all his benefit, missed his pit stall there, did the 95 car. So any benefit he was going to have, he no longer does. And he's got to bring it back down pit road. He doesn't have the fuel to make it to the end. So now let's go look back at the wreck and see what happened to Scott Crump. He gets turned off the corner by Indelicato. That bounces Michael Goodman off the wall. Tate Lytle spun. Z. Shondura, Lafferty, Sherman. No, Goodman and Tate still getting into each other.
I don't think that one was intentional either. It just happened to be there at the same time. But the 73 car and the 56 seem like you cannot separate them here tonight.
No, it doesn't. It sure seems that way. And, looking at the running order now, it's all shuffled up because some guys decided not to pit. Some guys came down pit road. All the front runners from that stage came down pit road and took tires. Everyone behind them there has stayed out. So now the top five is Wacky, Gerald Campbell, Cameron Rich, Matthew Brinson third, Nick Massey fourth, and Jordan Owens into the top five. Good run for Jordan.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've mentioned them all throughout, I think, every broadcast this season. Defending champion Nick Massey, he still has not broke through for a race win. Hasn't been having too good of a run yet here today, but here he is sitting after pit strategy in the top five.
Massey doing a fantastic job and keeping that 48 car pretty clean. It doesn't look like there's any damage on it. You have to add him and Gerald Campbell right now, I think, to the list of cars that have no damage. They've done a pretty good job at keeping those machines out of trouble. Chris Wright back up to 7th, Brandon Scott back up to 8th. So some fortune for guys that definitely have speed that were up in the top 10 early in this one.
Brandon Key up here in the 6th position as well. Good to see the 6 car up here running towards the front.
And we'll have to see how easy it is for Dylan Thomas, Ryan Lutz, Matthew Weeks to charge through the field here as we get ready to go back to green. 1 lap to go. Gerald Campbell now your race leader.
I think it was in 2 or 3 laps. Thomas picked up a couple spots, was right back up there at the front. Going to have a little bit farther to go this time. Last time he restarted in about the 6th position. Now he's outside the top 10. Green flag in the air. Campbell going to take the lead into turn 1 and 2. Cameron Rich right on his bumper. And here comes Nick Massey 1 lane higher trying to make a run.
We have to watch for Ryan Lutz back in the field. He's going to have to clear through some of this traffic if he wants to get up to the race lead. This traffic and these cars on tires, those are kind of the story right now as Lutz behind Kyle Hanshaw trying to find a way around. He got blocked in. Thomas Weeks by Francis to the outside of the 36, 3 wide exiting 2.
Yeah, and we saw it the last time we had a caution and a couple cars stayed out. Kind of sets up a bad position for some of these faster cars because you're putting yourself in danger trying to get around these guys. Slower cars, and there goes the car around. That is Brandon Key.
And Kyle Clark nowhere to go.
And that's exactly what I was setting up to say right there, is it sets up a good opportunity for a caution, and Key just got destroyed by Clark. I'm guessing Clark's going to have some significant damage.
Big hit there. That's as harsh as it gets on a short track, and it's tough. Tough break for Josh Clark. We talked about him and how well he had done for himself to make up the ground, and just nowhere to go there. Once Brandon Key got sideways, we'll have to see what happened. That's his teammate behind him there. Looks like it's Brinson, though, in the 15 car. Not making any friends in his first start in ERSCA.
Well, I guess you escaped with Johnny's comment. I did not escape quite so much with Brandon.
Oh. Yep.
And there's the hit that turned his car from a stock car to a modified car.
Harrison Talon, who had been one of the fairly cleaner cars in this race. Adams got some damage, and I think the 95 car might be regretting missing his pit stall there.
That's what happens, right? You make a mistake on pit road, you put yourself in that chance of getting caught up in a wreck deep in the field, and that's exactly what happened to Adams.
Tough break. Tyler Riggs also involved, and it just seems like you end up back in the field at all, and you're just at such a big risk of getting some heavy damage. Look through. Ethan Burrell comes to pit road again to try to fix the damage on that 37 car. He has been on and off pit road a number of times tonight. We'll have to see. We'll have to ask him at the end of the race or something how much damage that 37 car has had and how much he has been able to fix, because he's been on there just about every single caution and then every lap available on those cautions.
Car looks in pretty good. I mean, it's got a shot to the bumper, but
Yeah, all things considered, that car could be a lot worse. Maybe Ethan Burrell can pull a rabbit out of the hat and make up a good finish here today, despite a miserable run so far through the first 111 laps.
fine-tuning that race car, getting minor repairs each time.
He's been down pit road 8 times, so just about one every 15 laps for Ethan Burrell. And yet he'll still have every opportunity to make up ground. He's still 24th on the racetrack. I think actually now 23rd as Zishan Dura heads to the back on an EOL. Maybe
We've had 11 cautions, so it's been pretty close on coming down pit road almost every single time for that 37 car.
Joe Campbell maintains his lead as we see yet another caution flag, and these guys trying to get their damage fixed on pit road and getting ready for another restart and see if we can't turn some laps in this one. It has been a classic NASCAR-style spin fest of a short track race. I have, my expectations when I come to short track races, and it's usually something that about like this.
I just saw there as we were going around pacing another lap. Bayuk tried to beat the pace car out again, could not do it. He's going to go another lap down. Pace car down and away. Campbell, Rich going to lead us to the green flag, and Jared Campbell's going to get a good restart here and pull back out front.
Yep, Nick Massey, the one who kind of didn't get a good start, and that's going to open the door, I think, for Dylan Thomas in the middle of the racetrack. Maybe thinks better of it a little bit there and drives it in behind Brinson in the 15 car. Brinson, kind of the cause of the last caution there. We'll have to see if these guys can get around him clean as Thomas to the outside, those tires working wonders for the 03 car.
Here comes the 03. Here comes the 11 of Weeks and Francis all to the top side looking to make up some room. Lutz is stuck back there behind Brinson and Wright. And Wright's using the bumper trying to get Brinson out of his way already.
Yep, tough deal there for Ryan Lutz, stuck in behind these guys with Joe Francis to his outside. As now Brinson clears in behind Thomas, so Weeks unable to get in to the outside lane behind the 15 car. Ooh, this might be a wreck. Caution's out now. Once again, those guys were racing really hard. Oh, Robert Hill. Tough break for the 05. We'll go see. It looks like Michael Goodman might have been involved yet again. And in fact, he was. Right, we'll tell you what happened here. Did not see where Robert Hill got around on the replay, but it looks like running mid-pack just lost it, left off the corner. Very nearly got into 3 different Pro Edge cars. He hit Ethan Burrell in the door, though I don't think it gave Ethan too much damage. Then bounced off of Josh Clark and Tate Lytle before coming to rest, and then Michael Goodman spun in trying to avoid him there, getting on the brakes, exiting the corner. Difficult spot to stop. These guys just going to have to be persistent the rest of the way, though. I mean, everybody's got a lot of damage at this point, and the only ones who don't are going to be up there battling for the win. So the guys like Robert Hill, Michael Goodman, Tate Lytle back here, who just got back on the lead lap after that. All those guys are just going to have to, maintain that perseverance and see if they can't end up with a decent finish if more guys end up falling out due to the crash damage.
Oh, believe it or not, I think Burrell did not come down pit road that time. So,
ooh. Yeah, in 20th spot is our points leader now, and with Ryan Lutz in 8th and having gained 9 spots during the halftime break, Ryan Lutz, I think, in prime position to try to move into the points lead. It's going to be tough. He'd probably have to win and Ethan to finish right about here because it's about a 30-point gap. But if he can do it, I think it's totally possible we could see another points lead change. That would be 3 weeks in a row.
the best thing and the best friend for Ryan Lutz right now is these caution laps to keep clicking off, because this does not give any time for Burrell to make his way up through the pack. So I'm sure Ethan would love a long green flag stretch here to the end.
It's a double-edged sword there for Ryan Lutz. Yeah, he knows Ethan Burrell doesn't get to make up that ground, but he also doesn't get to make up ground past these guys in front of him with those fresher tires. And I think Ryan Lutz is probably hoping he can get a green flag run and get up into the top 5. He knows that car is fast enough to be there, and Ethan Burrell's car hasn't been above 20th all race. So Emily Parlin back from pit road. Emily, what you got for us?
So I talked to Gerald Campbell. He said he's doing good because he's in first, obviously. He said he's not seen anyone really making a charge. So his strategy the rest of the way is just to kind of see how things go. He says if he does happen to pit one more time, it'll be the last time he pits, absolutely. So we'll see how things go the rest of the way here.
Right, that's race leader Gerald Campbell, and I think Gerald's about to be in for a bit of a rude awakening. As Dylan Thomas is now right behind him, and if he's looking for someone to make a charge on him for the lead, it's going to be that 03 car to me.
Ooh, Cameron Rich just dove it in deep there, almost got into the back of the 31 car, and here comes Thomas to the inside. He'll take the second spot, and I'd guess in about a lap or so he'll be breathing down the back of Campbell for the race lead. That 03 car looks mighty fast here tonight as he heads off into turns 1 and 2, and there he is, right on the back of Campbell.
That was a great restart for Ryan Lutz. Got a lot of ground up into 6th from 10th on the restart. As we see Thomas there nearly get to the back bumper. Lutz now the second car in line with fresher tires. Matthew Weeks the third car in line with fresh tires in the 11. But Lutz kind of trapped in that same spot he was in earlier, side by side, old tires in front of him. He wasn't patient then. He went 3 wide underneath them. Will he do the same move here?
Well, it looks like Massey's going to be able to clear right. That might help him out here. He's going to dive to the bottom. Massey going to go back and block that line, but now he's under right for the position.
Ryan Lutz now trying to get into the top 5 in this 36 car. Certainly got enough damage to where it's likely affecting that 36 and slowing him down a little bit. But Ryan Lutz very good at these types of tracks that you have to really rotate the corner and carry that corner speed. For now, able to just hold serve with Chris Wright, able to hold that momentum up top. No, crash on the back. It's Colin Fambro and Jordan Owens. As soon as one of those cars hits the track, I think the caution will wave, and there it is.
Yeah, I saw that one out of the corner of my eye looking at it in the back of the pack, and was watching Ethan Burrell to see how he was moving, and like you said, David, this car is not fast at all. He was moving backwards. He got together with Scott Crump. Crump got into Fambro, and that spun everybody out.
Wow. Ethan's going to be 15th here, so maybe something going right for him finally, but yeah, there it is. Ethan and Crump are the ones who kind of start this mess, and then Fambro and Owens sliding into the infield guardrail. Doesn't look like the 45 or the 5 are particularly poorly damaged. But Gerald Campbell pits out of the lead in the 31 car. So does Chris Wright. Comes to get tires. Interesting call by our race leader. It looked like he had Dylan Thomas kind of held back.
Nick Massey did stay out, though. So the 48 car going to pick up the 3rd spot.
Cameron Rich, Matthew Brinson all staying out on those older tires. Josh Adams still out there on old rubber as well. So, like we said, a varying mix of strategies throughout the field to try to get this one. But Dylan Thomas finally back out in front. That 03 car has been the kind of the de facto fastest car of the day. We've seen Cameron Rich up front leading laps. Ryan Lutz has been up front a couple of times. Josh Adams, Gerald Campbell. But I think, yeah, no one has been up front nearly as often as Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, this 03 car definitely looks like the car to beat, but that really doesn't mean anything here in the ERSCA 2021 season because the car to beat is picked up maybe 2 or 3 wins this season, if that.
Yep, we've had a very competitive year. No one winning more than 2 races, and that 47 car, the only one of those to have done that. So, each and every week we're looking for someone to kind of make their statement and win their race. And until someone starts winning multiple races and carrying a bit ahead of the rest of the field, then we can start to call some of those guys the dominant driver. But for now, I mean, we've seen Ryan Lutz dominate a couple of races and win his one race, but he has been in and out, up and down. It didn't even seem like he was able to beat Chris Wright, who was on those old tires last time.
I mean, I think you kind of mentioned it earlier in the race, David. It doesn't matter if it's been super speedway, short tracks, or races in between. I mean, the car that seems like it's dominated all day long, very rarely has actually gone to victory lane, whether they've got wrecked, pit strategy, mistakes on pit road, whatever it seems to be. It seems like maybe the car that's running second or third best ends up taking the win. We've seen a few actually break through, but very rarely have the dominant car actually won so far this season.
Exactly right. Dylan Thomas and Cameron Rich will be the front row here. Thomas with those fresh tires, in all likelihood, going to be able to pull away on this run. We'll see if we can get together a long green flag run this time. Pace car in.
Go back to green flag racing. Dylan Thomas getting a jump, but not that great of a one over Rich. Rich able to pull even as they head through turns 1 and 2. They're going to be side by side exiting the corner as we're working on lap 133 of 200, and Rich even pulls ahead by half a car down the backstretch.
Wide move by Ryan Lutz to get around Matthew Brinson. Now Lutz around Joe Francis, doing his best to move up through the field. Thomas under fire from Rich again. The 03 has not been able to pull out to the lead, kind of like we thought he would. Rich has been able to hold him off in the outside lane.
We'll have to see. They're going to sit side by side. Massey and Weeks side by side. Lutz battling back there in the 5th position. Tried to make it a side by side battle. Couldn't get it done. He'll have to settle back for the 6th spot.
Do you see what I'm seeing back there in 8th spot on the bottom lane? That the car behind Ryan Lutz.
Yeah, I do.
That
That is the 37, and I was watching him during pit stops, and you know why he's up there? It's because he stayed out, gave himself some track position, and that's a points position or points move there by the 37, trying to keep this championship tight and maybe have a chance to hold on to the lead coming out of here, even with everything he's been through tonight.
I think Ethan Burrell would if he was able to finish there. Dylan Thomas finally clears for the lead, and he'll have a kind of trying to pull away from Cameron Rich here. Matthew Weeks unable to get around Nick Massey so far. Might be able to clear him now, and he does. So maybe the biggest threat to Cameron Rich so far, to Dylan Thomas rather, early on in this one has been that 11 car. The caution out, though, it is Josh Clark once again. I think that's the 3rd or 4th caution that 28th car has been involved in. Looks like might have been a little bit of a help there, though. Clark lost it on his own. Hanshaw and Mogard bounce off of one another, and I think Hanshaw's going to come down. Nope, he didn't get hit by anybody. 46 car made it through without touching anyone, and Clark lost it, regained balance. Those 2 cars go for a jolly little spin and keep on going. Dylan Thomas will stay the leader as we hit, what is this now, our 13th caution of the race probably?
Close 14th caution of the race.
Oof. Been a busy race so far for the officials, for the admins, and for the flag stand waiver. Everybody really having to work hard on this one, and we're still 60 laps to go in the Chairgatin 200 from North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I think the poor flagman's arm might fall off the rate we're going.
It has been a wild race so far, to say the least. And I think we're only going to get it more wild as we approach the finish in this one.
So, David, you've been from the driver's seat, or you give us a good driver's seat perspective here. How hard is it when you have 14 cautions breaking up this to kind of get into a rhythm here at a short track like North Wilkesboro?
It feels completely impossible to get into a rhythm. I mean, these guys are likely tired, frustrated, going, what do we have to do to just run some laps? And, North Wilkesboro is so delicate on entry, right? It's very, very loose when you get onto the brake pedal. So these guys are having to, that we're seeing a lot of those issues entering the corner. That's what happened to Josh Clark right there. And then, when you have these cautions broken up, it just tends to breed more cautions because, like you said, these guys are not ready for those corners and those around them to be making the moves that they are. Everyone gets a little more aggressive because there's less green flag laps to run. So everyone thinks they need to take more than they really need to, and it ends up just being a crash fest like you see here tonight. Nick Massey has come down pit road in the 48 car.
Hey, David, talking about that championship battle, do you see what's going to line up in row number 3?
I do. The two championship contenders are side by side, and that is pretty remarkable given the way the day started for Ethan Burrell, involved in 3 or 4 crashes. And, these two are going to, they're always next to each other, it seems like, in this series. And Ethan came out on top last week, Lutz at Homestead, and they've both been up front all year long. It doesn't surprise me at all that they're both able to work their way into the top 10.
If you're Ryan Lutz, you got to be thinking, what is going on here? He thought, he's been running up front, hasn't seen Ethan all day, and then now as we close in on 50 to go, here he is sitting to his outside.
Matthew Weeks and Lutz have had a little history together, and here comes Burrell charging on the outside of Ryan Lutz. I wouldn't have believed it if you told me that Ethan would have had this opportunity early in the race, but he has made a remarkable charge back to the front of the field. Lutz will hold him off for now and kind of expect that, but Ethan charges to the inside.
Well, we mentioned it about 20, 30 laps ago, David. That 37 car, for as many times as he's come down pit road, has looked very clean.
Dylan Thomas washed up the track in turn 1, lost the lead. He's losing more spots here. He'll lose second to Adams. What's wrong with the 03 car?
Yeah, he's in front of Lutz right now, slowing up that 36 car. Something has definitely changed. Caution flag out on the speedway once again. Maybe a big break here for Dylan Thomas.
I'm going to go back at myself and watch the Dylan Thomas issue. He overcooked the tires entering turn 1, lost the lead, and I think that may affect his car the rest of the way moving forward. Got very loose entering. Very not good for Dylan Thomas. You don't want to overcook the tires like he did there. That can really affect the handling of the car the rest of the way. And and he's lost the track position too. Is Adams going to go to pit road? Lutz going to pit road. Burrell stays out, and was that a bad call for Ryan Lutz?
We will see. I don't think fresh tires are really ever a bad situation. He's still going to have 50 laps, just going to depend on how far back he's going to have to battle from. But 36 car, definitely a fast one. It's going to have some work ahead of him, though.
And I don't know about that. The track position was there. He did have fresher tires than some of the guys in front of him, but a bold move by Ryan Lutz. I think that has to assume this race is going to have a green flag complexion at some point. Adams as well, and both of those guys really feels like they might have made a mistake here.
Yeah, you say that, David, because that's a strategy he's got to be thinking, but I don't know where he's got to be thinking that strategy from, because we've had 15 cautions through the first 150 laps, and what makes anyone think they're going to settle down with 50 to go? It's only going to get more aggressive.
It's interesting. We ran a race on Sunday in Nashville in the Elite Truck Series, and I didn't come down and get tires on a caution with about 50 laps to go. I was like, nah, there's no way. We're going to get a bunch more cautions. I'll come back down and get my tires later. And then they went green to the end. And I would have had a really good finish had I come take tires instead. It's regret. But, I still feel like the right move is to stay out here because track position is just so much more vital, especially in a race with so many cars still in the lead lap. I mean, Ryan Lutz is down in 22nd right now.
Yeah, only time will tell who's going to make the right decision, but could be in Burrell. If it's in Burrell's favor, it could play a massive role here in the championship.
Yeah, it would really likely lock things up fairly heavily for Ethan Burrell. I mean, he has about 30 points over Ryan Lutz, and then there's a big gap back to James Heater in third. check on Heater. What's he doing today? 17th for James Heater. So we've seen him spun out at least once. The 16 car not really having that kind of day to capitalize on the potential issues from those guys around him. So all that, and Cameron Rich is back in the lead.
Yeah, Cameron Rich back out front. Dylan Thomas able to sit in the second spot. But here he comes. He's lurking in the fourth spot. Ethan Burrell starting on the outside of row number 2. Outside Matthew Weeks. Green flag in the air. Look at the launch for the 47 car.
Great start for Cameron Rich, looking to try to pull away from that 03, try to run and hide, as it were. Dylan Thomas going to do everything he can to get back around this 47 car without overcooking the tires again. Ethan Burrell into third spot.
Unbelievable here for Burrell. He's going to try to go on the attack here of Dylan Thomas. And, you know, we talked about the story last week was Burrell finally breaking through and picking up a win here in ERSCA. But, man, if he could somehow come back and through everything he's been through today, if he somehow found a way to get to victory lane, what a story that would be.
Nick and Delicato about gave us a caution number 16 there. And if he doesn't, I think these guys battling back in the field with Ryan Lutz will. Lutz had to go 3 wide around Callan Fambro and Robert Hill, and he's still working around Fambro. Lutz not having any luck moving forward right now, as there goes Hill. And there's caution number 16 in all likelihood.
Well, David, I was just going to get ready to say that, you know, something we talked about, new tires starting in the back of the pack, trying to make his way through. It's the right move, wrong move. Thing we didn't bring up is the fact that he just put himself in a very dangerous situation back there, the 22nd spot. You just said that he just went 3 wide to go around a guy, almost caused a caution. He could very well put himself in a spot where he could take himself out of this race completely.
Yeah, it's that's the danger of making the pit call to come get tires, and with 16 cautions, I wonder if race control is going to change anything to maybe the restarts or something along those lines. We'll have to see. This has been a bit of a chaotic race, and yeah, with now Ryan Lutz wants a green flag run, and with every caution lap that ticks off, he loses a lap to be able to make his way back towards the front. He's only 20th spot right now, so he's got a long way to go to get back up to where Ethan Burrell sits in third spot.
Yeah, and by the time we go green, we're probably going to either have 41 or 40 laps left to go. So time going to be kind of short here for Lutz. He's not going to be able to waste time behind guys too long.
North Wilkesboro is just notorious for races like this. Very difficult to get these cars to run side by side together cleanly. You can really slide around and bounce off of each other, and the way the cars react to one another on the sim is just not particularly well controlled. It can't lean on each other very well, and it does make for a poor race like this when you end up with so many cautions. But that's just kind of what we've got going, and you know these guys just have to work it out, and it'll provide for great opportunities and great stories like this comeback by Ethan Burrell. See if we have one to go yet. We do not. Pace car continues to click laps off. This is the Chairgatin 200. We're at North Wilkesboro Speedway. 160 laps in the books. Cameron Rich, your leader. Dylan Thomas looking to maybe steal that win back away. He has been the more dominant car. I believe the most laps led is the 03. And Ethan Burrell has been to the back as the points leader and now sits in third spot. That's kind of a race summary there. We get ready to go back to green. Rich and Thomas side by side. We'll see if Rich can get any ground on these guys and get that leader jump. Pace car pulls in. Rich hits the gas pedal and he goes. Dylan Thomas is able to stay with him, though, for the most part, so the 03 will be in striking distance.
Thomas going to try to look under. Rich can't get it done. Weeks going to come on the attack here of Burrell now for the third spot. And look who's lurking with the top 5. Here comes the 83 of Johnny Thomas.
Where did he come from? 83 car moving up towards the front of the field and challenging for fourth here. And man, it looks like Dylan Thomas's tires just got so overcooked when he got it sideways entering the corner underneath Cameron Rich. He looks like he's on old tires now almost. He may have really hurt his chances to win this race when he made that mistake entering turn 1. Because Ethan Burrell now all over the 03 car.
Yeah, Burrell gets loose, exiting the corner there. That's going to give a little breathing room to Thomas here. Caution flag on the racetrack. That'll bring up number 18 or 17.
I think it's 17, and oh man, I think it's going to be Richard Lafferty once again. That's the third one involving the 8 car. That will mean Michael Goodman gets a lap back. We saw him go a lap down under caution that time. See if I can take a look and see what happened to Lafferty here. And it's the same old from the 8 car. Could not exit turn 2. That's the third time he has bounced off the interior guardrail after exiting turn 2 with a little bit of a loose condition.
All right. Strategy time here, David, because these cars be coming down with still 35 to go.
Ryan Lutz is 17th. He's only made up 3 positions in that run. I wouldn't touch pit road if I was anyone who's up near the front of the field right now. You'd just be sacrificing positions at this point. You know, this race is what it is. We've all kind of acknowledged that. So now what we've got to do is find a way to get to the end here and see if we can't get these guys to run it clean. And these guys are going to have to battle for the win. Cameron Rich seems like he's in a really good spot. Dylan Thomas's tires seem to be all pretty much shot. It's going to be whether or not the 03 can cool his equipment off as much as possible to get back to the 47 car. Looking through the top 10 here, Cameron Rich, Dylan Thomas, Ethan Burrell, Johnny Thomas. We've had a number of times talking to about Johnny Thomas. Matthew Weeks sitting in 5th. Great run for him. Nick Indelicato in 6th. He's been involved in a couple of incidents today, but hasn't been too bad for him. Gerald Campbell led this race earlier. He is up in 7th spot and one of our top 5 points guys, so Gerald needs that good run. Chris Wright is in 8th. Chuck Sweeting in 9th and Jared Mogard in 10th. Wright, Mogard, and Sweeting have all been either involved in something or back to front all day long, like Adams. Or Josh Adams there in 11th. And Wright, the one who I was kind of thinking of going back to front all day. Adams there in 11th. Harrison Talon in 12th. Brandon Scott in 13th. All those guys have been back to front. It seems like Dylan Thomas is the only one who's just stayed at the front of the field all day long.
So looking at the top 5 right now, we have race winners this season in the top 5. That's Rich and Burrell on the bottom line, but Thomas looking for his first. Dylan Thomas looking for his first. Johnny Thomas looking for his first. Matthew Weeks, and you can add Nick Indelicato in there as well. All looking to pick up a win. Burrell with a horrible restart. He's going to lose quite a few spots here. Indelicato, Thomas right by. Now Johnny Thomas on the back of Dylan Thomas.
Oh, Matthew Weeks and Campbell make a little bit of contact. Man, what a tough break for Ethan Burrell. Spun the tires and maybe missed a shift as well in that 37 car. And he loses several spots back to 6th. Sends his teammate Matthew Weeks back to 10th. Yeah, both of those guys out of the top 5 just like that. Battle for the lead coming up. Dylan Thomas all over the back bumper of Cameron Rich. Johnny Thomas has moved into third now.
Don't know what's up with the 03 now. All of a sudden, it seems like it's come back alive on the rear of Cameron Rich, trying to go for the race lead.
See if he got those tires cooled off. That second caution might have helped the 03 car. Johnny Thomas trying to hang with him as much as he can here. Blinks out a little there.
Has not came back.
He's not back. Where's Johnny? There he is, right in front of Nick and Delicato. A very scary moment for sure for the 01 car.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth there, David. Not knowing where that 83 car is for about a whole lap. Definitely had to put him on edge, and he gets loose coming out of the corner. It's going to give some room to Thomas, but battle rages on here. Hasn't been able to make a move, has Dylan Thomas, but he is all over Cameron Rich as we have 38 laps to go, or 28 laps to go.
Don't look now, but entering the top 10 is Ryan Lutz in P10 as Delicato goes sideways, exiting the corner. That'll bunch up the field around him as Chris Wright goes after fifth. Ryan Lutz, enough time passes, and this 36 car will be back in the hunt. Mark my words.
Well, and this is what he wants right now. A few laps, green flag, and he wants us to go green the rest of the way.
Oh, it might
All
not.
his cars
Sideways
wrecking.
in the back.
Is that going to bring it out? We're still green at the moment.
Chuck Sweeney sideways, and Hanshaw's around now. That will be the caution. That crash happened for several corners. Very, very big stack up there when Chuck Sweeting got sideways in front of the field.
So with 25 to go, caution flag comes out here on lap 175, our 18th caution of the night.
Whew. The Chairgatin 200 has been a wild race so far, and these guys have really been aggressive in the mid-pack because there hasn't been enough time to make up ground on your own. You have to be aggressive. You have to be willing to take it 3 wide, and that slightest bit of contact has just been every bit as damaging as the rear bumper spins that we've seen. Like, all this started when Chuck Sweeting and Scott Crump got together, and it was Crump that just came up a lane and a half and bounced off of the 75 car. Got some damage for Nick Massey as well as Joe Francis in the 50. So a couple of tough breaks there, but everyone kept it straight until turn 4, the lap after that, when Kyle Hanshaw went sideways.
Gonna have less than 20 to go when we go green flag racing once again. Looks like Bayuk's gonna get the free pass.
That'll put him 1 lap down, I believe. Though Crump and Dura both are now a lap down with Bayuk. So after this caution, Bayuk won't be able to get back on the lead lap. He has been toiling several laps down all day long, but that 29 car will not be able to get back on the lead lap and make up some spots. A lot of these guys just trundling around with very broken race cars without much speed behind them. And, so information from race control there, 22 pit stops for Matthew Bayuk trying to fix the damage on this car. Now, we haven't had 22 cautions. He's coming down multiple times per pit stop.
Yeah, we thought Burrell had visited pit road quite a bit. Not even anywhere close in the ballpark of Matthew Bayuk there. Running that combination stock car, modified car with the nose off of it.
Absolutely. A tough break for Bayuk to be in that position where he's trying to persevere. He's trying to maintain as much as he can, but there's just nothing he can do at this point. The 29 is just kind of wrapped up in a hole that he can't really climb out of unless a lot of guys get a lot of race-ending style damage.
So it'll be Rich and Dylan Thomas on row number 1, Johnny Thomas and Wright on row number 2, and Indelicato and Burrell in row number 3.
See if Ethan can get a better restart from 6th and try to make up into the top 5 here. Really, what a great opportunity for Ethan to try to maintain the points lead after such a dismal start, even after that mistake on the last restart.
Well, and you mention it. Talk about it. I mean, Lutz is making his way back up, but still, I mean, it totally flopped when we were looking at the championship. We thought Lutz was going to have it. Now, Burrell is in the driver's seat.
Lutz took it really deep in there into turn number 1, and Rich does clear Dylan Thomas. So the 47 back into the race lead. Dylan Thomas underneath.
Yeah, I don't know if the 47 got loose or Thomas just got aggressive on the throttle there and got underneath him. He's going to look again to the inside here. Can't make it work. Now coming out of the corner, going to draw even. Rich will pull away down the backstretch.
Dylan Thomas and Cameron Rich have done this dance a number of laps today. The outside lane tends to prevail unless a mistake is made. So Rich clears the lead. It seems like Dylan Thomas is going to need to use the bumper if he wants to get around this 47 car. Chris Wright now challenging Dylan Thomas. That's our Chicagoland winner.
And he got a better restart.
There's the bumper. Cameron Rich around from the lead. Dylan Thomas around Ethan Burrell to the lead.
How about that? I was just going to say, David, he got a lot better restart. He was coming to the front on the outside, looking outside Johnny Thomas, and Burrell is now your race leader, and we have a stack up on the front stretch.
Yeah, don't look now, though. Guess who's right behind Ethan Burrell? It's going to be Ryan Lutz. Those two are the two who get out of it because, of course, they do. I think they're going to give the lead to Chris Wright here. He was in front of Burrell right when the caution flew, probably, but Wright's going to have a good bit of damage on the nose of that machine. Nick and Delicato damage as well. We're going to need a couple of replays on this one. Dylan Thomas and Cameron Rich absolutely probably very upset.
Dylan Thomas down pit road. That's going to end his night. His chances of winning this one going to be probably out the window.
Yeah. Let's go see what happened there. It looked to me like Dylan Thomas just drove it in. And like I was saying, he's going to run in and have to run in and use the rear bumper. But in iRacing, these cars just do not react well when you get into the rear of them. And Dylan just gets through the corner so much better than Rich. I don't think that was even an intentional bump to get him out of the way. Right here, there's going to be big damage to Wright. And, oh, man, I wish the racing officials would revisit that one. It looked like Ethan Burrell had the lead to make.
And Johnny Thomas took a big shot out to the outside wall. I think he was pushed back up to the front, too, here. So he's going to, I think, might even be ahead of Burrell as well. I'm not quite sure, but I did see the 83 car moving towards the front, towards the pace car.
They do have him move to the front of the field here, so it will be Wright, then Thomas, then Burrell. But Johnny's going to have a lot of damage. And so is Indelicato. This might be a race between Wright, Burrell, and Lutz, three guys who've already won races this year. There it is, the heavy damage for Johnny Thomas, and just the big stack up there on the front straightaway after a massive spin from the lead. And it does kind of correlate with the way Cameron Rich's season has gone. Either he wins or he ends up on the truck.
A parking lot, I think, is the best way to describe it there on the front stretch.
From the back of the field here, see what happened amongst the rest of these guys. Thomas, Mogard, Tate does a great job of slowing and stopping, and the rest of the field did a really nice job there of kind of piling up and not getting any additional damage.
I think what really hurt everybody there was Johnny's spin, not so much Dylan's spin. Dylan was on the inside, but when Johnny got turned back across the racetrack, that's what really stacked everybody up.
And we'll have to see if Johnny Thomas has any engine damage from that. He will be restarting in second here with 12 laps to go. Coming to 11 to go, actually, is Chris Wright, now the race leader. This race has completely changed.
Now we'll see how it goes. You can see that 83 car definitely damaged. Off we go. Johnny Thomas going to try to take the win, but you can see it's already negatively affecting that bottom line. Burrell going to try to get through. Lutz gets into Campbell, sends him up the racetrack. Burrell going to have to get around Thomas, and he squeezes in there in front of Campbell.
Johnny's car doesn't look too bad. It seems like it's running okay. Now it's starting to affect him as Lutz drives it in way too deep.
Yeah, I think, David, it was because those guys were kind of stuck behind him. They couldn't get around him, and now that they can, you can see Johnny's just sinking like a rock through the field. Everyone trying to avoid him. Down
Johnny's
pit
bringing
road.
it to pit road. Yep,
Caution
good call by
flag,
Johnny.
no. Caution's out.
Where did the caution flag come from? I didn't see anyone around. Oh, it was Ishandura. Oh, no, it was Matthew Bayuk, actually. Bayuk and Scott Crump going around in turn 3 there. So, and that was all a product of the way that field was stacking up when Johnny was coming to pit road. Kind of caused those guys to lose a little bit of focus back there and knock into each other for right around last place.
And that's just a shame because Johnny was just trying to do the respectable thing there, get off the racetrack, get out of everybody's way, and in turn it stacks up, brings out our 20th caution of the night here, and it's going to probably be a 5-lap shootout or so to end this thing.
Yep, and it's all Chris Wright right now, and it just seems like the guys, it's been tires that has been the thing that's been able to create those passes, and less the speed of cars behind you. And the only one I've been able to see make a pass for the lead has been the 03 of Dylan Thomas, and that car's mired in 23rd. So, we'll see if anyone can catch Chris Wright, but it would take a Herculean effort by Nick Indelicato, Ethan Burrell, Gerald Campbell, any of those guys, and Ryan Lutz as well. But, the points gap, Lutz getting those 9 stage points, I mean, that's going to mean he's going to eat into the Ethan Burrell lead should they finish in this order. But it wouldn't be by very much.
No, not at all. And I'm sure Chris Wright would love to bring this one home, since the last time he ended up in victory lane 2 weeks ago in Chicagoland, we were having technical difficulties, weren't able to bring the race to. So looking to try to go back into victory lane, pick up his 2nd win of the year, and join our only other multi-time race winner here this season. And that would be
Cameron Rich. Yep, who was looking to be a 3-time race winner this season, right up until he got spun from the lead a couple of laps ago, and that causing that big pile up on the front straightaway that we've kind of well documented at this point. It's now kind of down to Chris Wright, Nick Indelicato, Ethan Burrell, Gerald Campbell, and Ryan Lutz, the top 5. What a recovery for Brandon Scott to get into 6th. He's been backwards on the front straightaway, bounced off of some other people in wrecks, managed to make it back up to 6th spot, and then a couple more guys that have been involved in wrecks right behind him, Jared Mogard, Harrison Talon, both of those guys, right back up into the top 10 after being involved.
Almost seems like if you could wreck early enough, you had enough time to recover and get back up here. And the one outlier, obviously, Burrell, who's been involved in multiple wrecks, been down pit road multiple times, but still, pit strategy put him up here. But, yeah, good to see some of these guys recovering and making the day out of what was a rough one. Here we go. Chris Wright, Nick Indelicato, and we are off. And for Lutz and Burrell, they're stuck behind Indelicato, who did not get the launch. That Wright did, and here comes Campbell to the outside.
Gerald Campbell now with a chance to steal a 2nd win away this season. Brandon Scott up the top. Wonder if there's some fresh tires on those cars. And we'll see if we can't get to the end here. We're 3 laps to go. Chris Wright well ahead. Burrell gets into Campbell.
Yeah, he gives Burrell the bumper. The 37 car knows he wants to go. And here's the 2 and the points battling side by side. Lutz to the inside, Burrell to the outside. They have Indelicato and Campbell in front of them. This is for 4th and 5th. Only battle on the racetrack. There's a caution. Cars spinning backwards on the front stretch.
Oh. What an...
Johnny Thomas, Scott Crump.
Ooh. So we'll go to, I believe, a green-white checkered finish.
I mean, it seems
Correct
fitting,
me if
right,
I'm wrong
David?
there. Yeah, we were going to have one there. And, yep, the race will be extended for a green-white checkered finish. So hopefully one more restart for these guys, one more chance for them to catch Chris Wright there. And wild racing going on throughout the pack. And Dylan Thomas maybe a little impatient there. And What happened to Tate Lytle in front of that?
I think he just looped it out, honestly. But
Guys, man.
Marshall Stanley, Johnny Thomas stopping. I don't think they actually made contact with Crump, just stopped to avoid the wreck.
Every position matters, so those guys going for everything they can get for the point standings. All those guys like, Josh Clark, Johnny Thomas back there, Dylan Thomas, all trying to make up ground and get close to the playoffs. They're all not very far out of playoff contention, and just a couple of good races and could get them back in. But you have to be able to make up all those points, and so these guys are pushing maybe a little harder than they otherwise would, and it's resulting in some very aggressive racing throughout the pack. With that, Chris Wright trying to, like we said, become that second time, two-time winner this season, and he's looking like he's in a really good spot to do so. Gerald Campbell got 3 of everyone and just could not eat into the gap.
No, he'll restart in the 3rd position, and Delicado will start on the front row once again, and maybe Nick can get a better restart here because he did not get a good one there on that last one. Burrell will line up into the 4th spot, and those will be your front 2 rows. So we're going to go 204 laps here for this one.
It has been a long night, a lot of 20-plus cautions in this. A lot of difficulty with cars bouncing off of each other, but all that wildness is about to come to a close. And the 2 guys that are leading the points are 4th and 5th. They have avoided the majority of the crashes around them. They've been involved in a couple. They've been able to recover, and Chris Wright will only be able to eat so much into those leads. He is 8th in points before tonight, but he's going to need a lot more than this if he wants to get an opportunity. Yeah, Ethan Burrell and Ryan Lutz from 32nd and 34th, respectively, I believe, on the grid to start this one. Yeah, and so 28 spots up for Burrell and 29 up for Ryan Lutz. Final restart coming up at North Wilkesboro. Pace car is in.
Nick and Delicado, Chris Wright going to try to battle it out, and once again the 69 car with a great launch might have just possibly won him the race. Burrell on the outside this time, not going to get stuck behind Indelicado. That'll be Campbell that will. Can Burrell run to the outside and get around Indelicado here? But that battle for second might just hand this win over to Chris Wright.
Yep, white flag in the air. Finally, the next flag will be the checkered flag. Ethan Burrell trying to take second from Nick Indelicado. I think this might be a second place finish Ethan Burrell's grateful for, but it's going to be Chris Wright. The 69 car has jumped to the lead after craziness, and Chris Wright will win at Wilkesboro. Ethan Burrell second, and Nick Indelicado third.
How about that? I mean, congrats, dude. They're still wrecking down out of turn 4. Down the front stretch, cars everywhere. I mean,
Brandon
just
Scott.
a storybook ending here to this one. I mean, 22 cautions. I think that's really the headline here for this one. But congrats to Chris Wright. This time we actually get to bring home a victory for him on the Belly Up Sports ERSCA broadcast. And, I mean, what a run. Nothing other to say for Ethan Burrell than an amazing outing for him. And congrats for Nick Indelicado finishing up here in the top 3.
Yep. Gerald Campbell finishes it in 4th. Ryan Lutz finishes 5th. And Scott comes home 6th. Harrison Talon 7th. Matthew Brinson 8th in his first race of the season. That's a pretty good run for him. Josh Clark brings it home in 9th despite a number of spins, and James Heater keeps up that consistency with the 10th place run. We'll wait up for the top 3 to come into the booth, and when they can, we'll send them down to Emily for the interviews, and it'll be Chris Wright's first interview as a race winner, despite winning that first race, and there's his previous race. Good run for Chris Wright there. Took advantage of it when it counted, and was able to bring it home a winner.
And as you said, going through the results there, right? Top 3 and the top 10 once again when looking at the points.
Yeah, I think Chris Wright may end up in third in points, so it's going to be close between him and James Heater. But those two, I think, will be third and fourth. Campbell will be right there in third, fourth, or fifth. It's just going to be all about the bonus points, really.
I mean, but you look at it, I mean, Wright's always usually up towards the front. Heater, again, another top 10, and then Lutz and Rell. I mean, there's a reason those 3 are out ahead in the front top 3 spots is because they consistently up here in the top 10, even when nights don't go their way.
Yeah, and conversely, difficult nights for Colin Fambro in the 5 car. He was way down the order, finishing, I think, 17th. Tough night for Josh Adams tonight. He'll fall some spots in the points, and then Matthew Bayou, just a miserable night from 9th in points. He'll be losing some spots with the 27th place run. Tate Lytle unable to recover 23rd today, and he'll drop some spots from 5th as well. So I think Gerald Campbell's in the waiting room, so I think we can bring him on now for the interview for 3rd place. So we'll send it down to Emily for Gerald Campbell for that 3rd place run.
Hey, Gerald, you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. So I want to start off by just kind of getting your just thoughts on how the race went tonight.
Well, record amount of caution, so
Yes.
that should kind of tell the story and unfold. It was just a battle of tempers and see who boiled over and who was able to keep cool for the entire race. But yeah, I didn't make any enemies, so I'm kind of happy about that. Car came home pretty clean, and just trying to get enough points to make it into the chase. And so far, we're pretty good looking right now going into it. So yeah, no, just kind of one of those races that you just had to pick the right line and just know when to let out of it, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And you mentioned all those cautions. So how were you able to kind of use all of that to your advantage tonight?
It was so tough to pass. It was just kind of one of those things that we had. The tires did make a difference if you were up front and you had a place to be able to put the car, but tires in the back, you just got stuck behind traffic. So it was one of those things that the cautions just did not allow anyone to be able to break away and single file the line to where the tires could be of use. So I kind of played that into strategy, led a little laps early, and then was able to kind of pit and decide not to come down pit road and just hope the other competitors would have gone down after me. And a lot of them did. The ones in front of me didn't, and well, that's where they held out. Some of them did wreck afterwards, but we definitely just kind of played the strategy to what I kind of figured how this race was going to go from the beginning. So yeah, just like I said, it was one of those things that you just had to play your own tune and not play to the others.
Awesome. Well, before we let you go, are there any shout outs you would like to give tonight?
Yes, yeah, I don't get to do it too often. I hope to get to talk to you guys more. That means I'm running good. But yeah, fantasy football. They sponsor the car. We got a nice little football car. I don't know if you ever could show it, but it's a cool series on Twitter. You can be able to listen to some of their podcasts and some of their talks. I'm sure they're talking about the upcoming draft coming up and future fantasy picks for your team. A lot of people are into that, and definitely to get a listening to them. And other than that, thank you guys. I love getting on here. I love racing this league. These are some tough competitors. They may chew you up and spit you out and call you all kinds of names, but they're some of the fastest guys out here. If you get a good finish with them, then you worked hard for it. So yeah, just kind of happy. And like I said, left here, didn't make any enemies. With the chase coming up, kind of not having to owe anyone or people owe me anything, it's kind of what I wanted. Just not to have anything that boiled over to the next one. So yeah, go on to the next one, which is Rockingham. Ooh, just one of those tough tracks. It's going to be kind of like this, where it's going to be very difficult to pass, but with their tires are a lot more important. So yeah, gonna have to come up with a new strategy for that race and see if we can be able to talk to you guys again.
Perfect. Well, Gerald, thanks so much for the time. Congrats on a good race, and we'll see you next time. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And we'll now bring in Ethan Burrell. Probably a bit of a happy second place finish for Ethan Burrell, I would imagine, today. We'll send it down to Emily now.
Hey, Ethan, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right. Well, this was a wild one here tonight. Just curious on your thoughts on how this one went for you.
Oh man, it was it was an uphill battle all night. Starting in the back and picked up some heavy damage early on, so I was really just kind of gaining a few spots and then hitting under the cautions to try to fix it. And finally in that second half, I got all the damage fixed that I could, but the car was still a little beat up. But just charging forward, I knew I had good pace, and the planets aligned for me, and just took advantage of it and got way up higher than I expected to.
Was there a point in this race for you tonight that you thought was maybe kind of the turning point for you?
Yeah, I had finally caught back up to the 36, I think. Once I cracked back into the top 10, I knew that I finally kind of made it out of the hornet's nest where all the crashes were happening. So, once you get that good track position, you can really start running your race how you want to, instead of just kind of reactionary driving. So once I finally cracked up there, I mean, it was rolling pretty good, and I felt good about the speed.
Well, it's a couple of top 3 finishes for you these last couple of weeks. What has been the key to the success lately?
Yeah, I mean, what a month of racing it's been. I think all second, first, second. It's been awesome. I've just been driving my butt off, and other than tonight, I think I've had some favorable tracks for me. So the finish tonight, getting second here tonight, I was surprised with myself. A lot of things worked out in my favor, but yeah, it's just been awesome. I mean, it's I know I didn't get any stage points at the halfway break, but just building on that points lead, and just driving hard.
Well, before we let you go tonight, are there any shout outs that you would like to give?
Yeah, let's shout out my grandma and Aunt Judy as always, for tuning into these races, and all the guys at Pro Edge Racing for working so good together and helping me out a lot. And David Tooker, he's always up on the box for us in these ERSCA races, so big shout out to him, and thanks to you guys and everybody that makes this series happen.
Awesome. Well, big hello to your grandma and Aunt Judy, and thanks so much for the time, and congrats on coming in second tonight.
All right, thank you.
That I think Chris Wright and Ryan Lutz and the and the rest of them are all kind of talking in the lobby for now. So we'll try to see if we can't go grab them. But I guess we can throw it to you guys for any final thoughts here before we get to that point. So Emily, we'll start with you.
Yeah, that was a wild one. I felt like as soon as I came back from talking to somebody, there'd be another caution, and it seemed like tempers were kind of flaring there for a little bit, so I wanted to give the guys their space. And but that was a crazy one, and I'm just, I feel like each time we do these, I just get more and more excited for the next one. So.
Yeah, Emily, I think you might have been gone when I told David, but I said you got to sit by kind of quietly last week. We definitely made you earn your keep here this week, going down and reporting on all the cautions. But, man, 21 cautions, definitely a lot here tonight. I think definitely affected the pace of the race and obviously what was going on, but made it interesting to see. And I think the real kind of cool story was to see some of these guys battle back after having all that trouble to finish in the top 3, top 5, top 10, whatever that might be.
I think that's a standard short track race from my point of view. Maybe a little extra wild from time to time, but I haven't seen a North Wilkesboro race go green with these cars yet. I mean, I've been running this series for a couple of years now, and since Dale Jr. brought this track back, it just seems like it's a very difficult track to get a hold of, and for these cars to be able to maintain their pace next to each other, and they just get very loose. I've self-spun at this track during the race before. It's just very difficult. And we saw that tonight. These guys just really struggled all night long. So with that, we're trying to get Chris Wright in here, but don't know where he is. So or how much longer we can kind of go, we'll try, but seems like he's a little off of it.
Well, David, it's not going to get much better next week because we head to Rockingham for the next round of the ERSCA series.
Now, Rockingham is one of my favorite tracks on the service. I love racing Rockingham, and it's just so much fun when you can kind of get on the old tires and get to sliding sideways. They'll spread out a lot more at Rockingham. It's certainly a little bit more difficult than this, and or more difficult to group up and crash each other than this. And it'll be a wild race, but I think we'll get to see some of these guys really stand out in terms of tire saving, and it's going to be a fun time. We're closing in on the chase. We're trying to see also if the points has been updated, and it has. So Ethan Burrell does retain the points lead over Ryan Lutz. Then it'll be Gerald Campbell, Chris Wright, and James Heater, the top five, kind of as suspected, and the gap is kind of widening between Burrell, Lutz, and the rest of the field.
No, but it's going to be, we're kind of on a old NASCAR track series here a little bit. North Wilkesboro, Rockingham, then we have our All-Star race, and then Nashville. So kind of fun to go back and see these old NASCAR tracks, and that's exactly what iRacing, the service, provides us, is to go see racing on these tracks that no longer are of use.
Yep, and we've also got Charlotte after that, and then Lernerville Speedway in the dirt. So that'll be an interesting race for sure. And then Daytona Road Course, and then Daytona in a 200 mile 80 lap event to close out the regular season before the chase. And then we'll take 12 drivers to the championship. It's going to be an absolutely crazy finish to the season. And with his poor finish tonight, Matthew Bayuk fell to 12th place on the chase bubble, 1 point ahead of Jared Mogard for that spot. So the points battle down to the chase is going to be massive, and it's going to be very, very close.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be something to watch here in the next few weeks. Going to be exciting. Definitely something to keep an eye on, and definitely going to be a storyline going through the rest of the season.
Well, with that, I don't know if we can grind it out any longer here. The discussion looks like it's taking longer than anybody thought. So with that, I think we can just go ahead and call it for the night. For Dom Santina and Emily Harlan, I am David Westergreen, and this has been ERSCA Racing, the Chairmation 200. Oh man, I can't remember the name of the podcast. But anyway,